Welcome to Lost Without Japan, a travel podcast about the life-changing experiences of exploring Japan and those moments we would be lost without. For your listening pleasure, allow me to introduce your very own Kanko Guido, Michael.
Welcome to this week's episode of Lost Without Japan, a podcast based on Japan and your lost without moments. I'm your director of travel for TKIC Studio Productions, and I'm coming to you with positive thoughts and excitement for your next journey to Japan and my own return in 2 summers with my daughter. Thank you for giving me a bit of your time today. If you're returning once more to Lost Without Japan, thank you again for your time and returning to us once more. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit different, and I'm actually streaming live on YouTube in audio form as we are a podcast, but also recording the show in Riverside as we go through for its release tomorrow. So, those of you that are following along on YouTube, thanks for the listen. Otherwise, you'll get this all tomorrow for everyone else. Today, we're going to be talking about the city of Kumamoto, Japan. This is a part of the itinerary for fellow Good Times host David's upcoming trip, and also home to some amazing One Piece sites. For those of you that have listened recently to our Good Time episode, we had talked, David and I, about possibly um, recording together this episode and him sharing his Kumamoto kind of itinerary. But upon further review of Kumamoto and what it has to offer, saw that there's actually uh, 10 One Piece statues of different characters from the story, from that anime. And I thought, David, you sharing a little bit about each one of the different characters from the anime is probably the best way to go. And we can also, share, some of his sightseeings and things as well. If we can fit that in before his trip or during, we'll see. But that's the plan at the moment. Uh, I recommend visiting anywhere in Japan, as I'm sure, you're really going to have a wonderful time pretty much anywhere you go. That being said, when your tourism could end up bringing money to areas that are in more need of it than others, I'd recommend it even more. There can be a lot of negative news from foreigners visiting Japan. However, visiting this area of Kumamoto, I'd really recommend, regardless of the fact that your money is going to go towards a great cause, which is kind of building back up this location. But it's really stands a chance as well for other people from within Japan seeing foreigners out and about in this area of making a positive memory of someone getting off the beaten path, which is kind of what our show is about, and bringing some good to that area. The event that I'm talking about that caused damage to this area was an earthquake that occurred on April 2016 in Kumamoto, Japan. There was indeed a powerful series of earthquakes, with the main one being of magnitude 7.0 on the Richter scale. The earthquakes caused widespread damage to the infrastructure throughout Kumamoto, including Kumamoto Castle, as well as other temples and shrines in the areas, and also resulted in numerous casualties and injuries. Um, Kumamoto Castle, in particular, being that it's a prominent cultural landmark, really did sustain quite a bit of damage, including collapsed stone walls and damaged other parts of the building, which are currently trying to be built back up. And it's not just being built back up, but trying to get the stones back into the area that they were before, in the position they were, is going to drag that out, getting it done. But these historic buildings and infrastructures, all of that area kind of suffered severe damage, So much so that the earthquake caused an estimate of between 5.5 and 7.5 billion in US dollars in economic damage. The earthquake resulted in at least 49 direct deaths, with some reports having that death toll be even more, just due to indirect things that occurred afterwards. More than 1,000 people were injured, and tens of thousands of people were displaced from their homes. Despite all of this, the area has done and is doing a lot to give numerous reasons to visit the area. And we're going to cover some of those today with our day trip. If you're asking yourself, Mike, where is Kumamoto? It's actually about 6 hours by Shinkansen from Tokyo and about 3 hours, 15 minutes from Osaka. But one reason that I would kind of tack this location, this city, onto it, even besides One Piece, is its location that it's near Fukuoka and it's also near Nagasaki. And I feel that all three of those cities could end up resulting in a very nice, portion of your trip. They let you explore southern Japan, kind of get off the beaten path with some of those things, and really allow you to see something outside of this, Tokyo and Osaka. For our day trip today, I kind of put in some times to different things so you could kind of go through. All of our links for the areas that we talk about today are going to be included in the Google map locations that I will include in the show notes for wherever you're listening to. At 8:30 in the morning a.m., I have this kind of starting off with Fujisaki Himangu Shrine. It was once a part of Kumamoto Castle, but moved to the location that it's at now after being burned down during the Seian War. It is a popular shrine to people who live in the area, but it's kind of less known to the tourists. One thing that is kind of cool about this, because of it being such a part of the area, when you visit this shrine, you actually stand the chance to stumble across numerous different events happening, such as a wedding. There are archery contests that happen there, Shinto ceremonies, and even a pretty large festival that takes place in autumn. And that is, again, the shrine of Fujisaki Hachimangu. From that location, um, which is like kind of near, we have some of these things that are close to each other. I have us kind of picking in one of the 10 statues we'll talk about later with David, and that is the monkey D. Luffy, like Luffy statue. That is kind of like the main character of One Piece, and Luffy stands guard on the front entrance path to Kumamoto's prefectural offices. And although this statue is not in downtown Kumamoto, and will require you to take a bus or tram to get to it comfortably from that downtown area. It's very much kind of worth it to add on the things we're going to talk about next. Like I said, there are 10 statues in this area that we'll talk about later. But actually, these statues are part of a tourism effort, and the creator of One Piece actually has donated, I want to say it's like, might be up a little bit, but like a $7 to $9 million in restoration efforts, and part of that being the statues that are there. They've been rolled out at different times to get people to kind of visit different areas with it. But again, going to visit the statue, even if you're not an anime fan, will get you to our next location, which is where we're going to have lunch very nearby. Our lunch that we have picked out for today is Aji-san Ramen's global flagship. Now, Aji-san Ramen, for those of you that have traveled a lot in China, you're like, hey, Mike, I see a lot of these ramen kind of like locations and things like that in airports all throughout China. Is this worth me setting aside something that I normally see in an airport? Now, normally, I'd say no. Like a lot of the places that are within airports, are not something, if they had a location outside of it, that I'd necessarily recommend you go to visit. But this is definitely different. It's just a 3-minute walk from the statue, and it is the flagship store, and it is something that has been around for some time. And it has more to do with the area than just being, the flagship of some, chain, but it is actually where Kumamoto ramen is said to have been invented. The founder of Ajisan Ramen added garlic to the Kurume style ramen to create the Kumamoto style ramen. There are currently over 800 locations in 14 countries around the world. Ajisen ramen is characterized by its brown sauce with senmi oil, which adds richness and flavor to the normally white tonkatsu soup, which really does, from reviews that I was looking through, seem to pair perfectly with the noodles that they have. You can also look to see fried garlic that is part of this dish, adding something a little bit different. And all of this together ends up making what is considered to be the Kumamoto style ramen uh, for that area. And all there are chains. Like I said, this is a chain location, multiple locations for these restaurants. This location will, come off like when you visit it is not part of a chain. It does not look new. It looks like it's been around for a while, and it is the only place, from what I've read, that you can get the Kumamon Kuro charcoal noodles with black garlic oil. Um, this is the only location that does that. In the Kumamoto style ramen as well. You get to order from a touchscreen, which can be a very positive thing, as you're able to use your Google Translate on your phone. So, with that, like one last thing of note is when you go to visit this location, if you happen to be visiting on the 22nd of any month, uh, regardless, of what month it is, if you're there on the 22nd, this location that's already busy gets even busier because of a sale that is run on the 22nd of every day of every month. So if it is the 22nd and you're going to be in the area for a while, you might want to skip that day or, like just like I said, kind of avoid it just because it gets even busier. Also, if you're driving and not just taking public transportation and kind of like walking in the area, parking is said to be very hard to find. For your kind of information, I do have the Google Map location. For booking, you can call 8196-123-45678. I don't think that's right. That's what was listed online, my friend. So let's just say no. But if you're looking to book this area, this like the ramen restaurant portion of things, and you speak Japanese, I could look to try to make a booking ahead of time, as this will take you know, like getting there. I'd say get there early, if you're looking to attend. From our ramen restaurant, next up is Kumamoto Castle Museum, which was damaged, like we said, in that earthquake, but it is just a 4-minute walk from where we were having our ramen. And it's home to some of Japan's finest samurai artifacts outside of like what you find in like, super fancy museums in Tokyo. The castle can end up being very crowded, regardless of construction going on. So, one thing that I saw mentioned by some reviews is the fact that, go ahead and head to like the basement, first floor of the basement, where less people end up going because a lot of people are going up, for some views or things. If you end up feeling overwhelmed, this is a great place to start. And it's kind of called like that wing of area has some like hidden treasures or things, some artifacts and things at the time of like those reviews. If they are when you go, things do change. but I hope they're there for you. But one thing that numerous, like their website and other things said, you can end up waiting in a very long line to buy tickets if you don't buy them before you go. So buy your ticket online through their website. And I know this seems counter intuitive or like not what you normally would do back home. But once you purchase those tickets, make sure to print things off in a physical copy on paper. You could recycle it after the fact. But just at times I found like when I bought tickets, things you need a physical copy. You can't just show your phone screen, which will most likely be in English. Um, wh- One other thing that I would very much recommend because the website says that it is important, and listen to the interwebs whenever you can. Those are our robot overlords, but they mention that it is very important for you to bring your own sunglasses on your visit, um, and to make sure that you're hydrated before you go, as it can get very hot during the summer. Um, the castle, which was damaged in the 2016 earthquake, has some sections that are closed off, but it is still very much worth the visit. And knowing, despite like seeing everything that is there, the money that you're spending at that point in time is going towards helping to, you know, build back up this location. And they have saying that it's going to take 2 decades to get it done, but let's hope maybe we can get some tourism, tourists, and things going there. Maybe get that done just a bit sooner. From the Ajisan Ramen, it's just a 4-minute walk, with hours being between 8:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. with last entry at 5. But I would probably say no later than 4:30, just so you can get to and see what you like. From that, we have kind of 3:30 p.m. Akakaku Tunnel, and it's not near the locations I've talked about. It's the one thing that's kind of an oddity, but it is well worth, to me at least, and I hope to those of you that are listening, a very photogenic place to go to. It's a 41-minute drive away, or a bus ride that could range between 1 hour and 22 minutes to 2 hours to get there. So really make sure that you're picking your times wisely when you go. What we're going out to, like Mike, we're heading out to this tunnel. It is known as an octagonal tunnel, and it's the remains of a Kuman Obu railway that has not been around for some time. It is more popular with your railway tourists or people that just love seeing things from the past. Uh, as the name suggests, it's an unusual tunnel with an octagonal cross section and kind of very much a retro atmosphere of the brick structures makes it. You know, I just can't describe it. You need to just open up the Google links that I provided and look at these pictures. It's great. If you take a bus to location, make sure you head down and across the bridge. They keep going forward. You see signs for the location. Reviews mention that if you go off of just where it says it is in Google Maps location alone, you could spend quite a bit of time just walking around back and forth trying to find it. So I recommend, rather than kind of just going off Google Maps, especially if you're driving, or it can start from the Fumamatsuba Bashi parking lot, which I have in Google Maps for today's episode. Um, One thing that they do note is wear comfortable shoes. It's not paved. It's not something that's set up, per se for tourists to be there. It's not something that I would go to at night. Make sure that it is not raining. A lot of different things. You're getting very much off the beaten path here, as it was part of a railway that was there and closed more than 50 years ago. There are many people that still visit the spot. The light coming in from, kind of just the like all the different tunnel parts that are there, really can, I think, make a perfect, spot for photos just of everything that is there. The hidden spot, like I said, recommended by railway fans and enthusiasts, that are part of abandoned railways or ruins or just people that enjoy photography. At 6:30. making it back into our area, I have for us, we're going to go to Yaku, Yakoboku, which is an award-winning bar, and not just an award-winning bar for Asia, I should say, not just award winning bar for Japan, but all of Asia. There was an article published in 2024 that of like Asia's top 50 bars. So all of Asia, right? And it came in outside the top 50 at 64. But that's amazing. I mean, you can find 64 bars in Tokyo in an incredibly small area. So, this is really something. And from what I can see, like, Kumamoto as a whole is not like this place that people have to beat the pat down to. And it is something to where people that find this bar don't even know that it was, ranked as highly as it is. But people that do find it end up going multiple times on their visit. They mention, and this is key for a lot of us that are traveling, that it is, their bartenders, Shinya-san and Kento-san, are superb, very friendly, and my friends do not mind communicating in English. When seeing how highly ranked this bar was, I was worried that there might be a language barrier, and I'm happy to see that there's not. And on top of that, when looking at pictures of the bar, I also saw that there were menus in English with pricing and descriptions of the drinks that you can get. This is a super small location with very limited seating. After doing that bar that I'm gonna be at someday with my son Sam, uh, again, top 64 in all of Asia. Uh, Come on, can't pass that up. At 8:30 p.m. for the evening experience, I have kind of making our way back to Kumamoto Castle to enjoy the castle lit up at night. It's called Kumamoto Castle Illuminations. From the castle ground itself, Ninomaru area of the castle. And it's kind of one of those things that the locals in the area know and tourists don't. But it is a great place to view the castle at night. And when you're done with that, again, that castle illumination viewing I have set up for like 8:30 p.m. And Yakitori, where we can add drinks to it. I have the location marked in Google Maps, and also kind of in um, like the pages that I'll put on our Patreon. But this Yakitori location is, one that I've not been to myself, but I'd recommend stopping by when it opens, or preferably the day before to make a reservation using basic English and Google Translate. You can expect a smoky environment because it is a yakitori location with their grills. And if that doesn't bother you, the food looks simply amazing. And the reviews mention the owners are friendly, although there is no mention at all of any English, or in what I can see from our menus, no English as well. So, but like what I found in the past, you find friendly, owner or a group of people, they're way more welcome to, be open to foreigners in general, especially when you are open, warm, and friendly yourself. So after that is also, nearby, the castle, very close and be included. For our lodging for this trip, for what we have, my friends, I have two. I have a budget option of dorming in Kumamoto, and then I have an upscale, the Blossom of Kumamoto. And for both of those, I do have Google Maps for both. The dorming in Kumamoto, I've grown to be a kind of fan of if you're looking for budgets. And even more so than the APA hotels, as the more like see them pop up and things, the more that they seem to offer. One thing I'd like to point out though is I read recently that booking through Klook and other discounted travel sites and not directly with some chain locations in Japan is at times ending up with people ending up with no reservation and having to talk back with Klook and other places to figure that out. So when you can, I would start, again, I'm going to start saying this in other day trips, is just book directly with those locations when you're able to. Um, with our Dormien reviews and things like that, mentioned again, a very friendly staff. This is not a super new Dormien location, but it is close to the main bus terminal and some shopping districts in the area. And there's also a hot spring there. It's what you're going to expect. It's going to from like a business, a hotel and things, small rooms within Japan. But again, there are tram stops. There are, all the different shopping and things that are in that area. And it really does kind of like when you start looking at other things that are in the area, give you a bit to go to and kind of look for. So that is our number one thing that's here. And again, even as late as 6 months ago, people say that the hotel is clean and staff is friendly, and that the hotel provides free soba at night after 9:30 p.m. There's a laundry area, free ice cream even at times, and vending machines even for drinks. So enjoy it. One other thing that some reviews mention is that there are some cycle tour groups that come through and cycle the area. So that could be something to look to add onto your trip. But just Google, kind of some cycling tours. We've talked to some people that do cycling as well in the past, friends of our, show that you could look to as well. So all great things there. That is our budget option, Dormien. Right now for June 29th through 30th, it is around $70 US a night. For our upscale option, as I said, I have the Blossom Kumamoto, and it is one that is considered to be a four-star hotel. For those of you listening to the show on Monday, June 23rd, and happen to be near Japan, there are some amazing deals going on currently with this. It's about 32% less than normal. So putting things around like 86 to $97 a night, like $100 something, US for your bookings. It looks pretty cool on the outside with 911 reviews and having almost a five, like it's 4.6 in Japan is great. It is very nice, and it says that it's a peaceful location hotel near the main railway station for Kumamoto Station, which is honestly the more I travel. And I know that I'm going to be going to and from like an airport or a train station. I like to have my lodging there, unless, like you're looking to do something that takes you outside of that area, like, a lot of the activities and things. It's really great because at the end of the day, you're always back where you need to be. And train stations, for those of you that may not want to run out and hit other things, always have a lot of different, options, it seems, for as far as usually around it, some dining and things to do. So just great. It's about, from the city center, from there is about 10 minutes by bus or by, the tram that runs through the area. And so many different people mentioned this having a fantastic experience being near the JR train station where your Shinkansen is going to come in. There are, like they said, they keep on mentioning, public bath. In this restaurant, like the location being very clean and modern. Um, very clean hotel. The gym that is said is not very large in any way, shape or form. Um, Only that it has, like a treadmill, an elliptical machine, like or just a very few of them. Um, and I'm looking through pictures and things that are here. It's just looks wonderful. Has a lot of restaurants and things that are in here. And went so far as some reviews just mentioning that they were disappointed um, that they only were able to spend one night there. That says a lot, that it's not just the city and the area and things you have, but the fact they had wish they had more than one location. People mentioned that that book through trip.com that check-in was a breeze, and that the just everything they had, like as far as an experience with somebody else, was superb. Um, just awesome. It said furnish like all your like beddings and things seem to be new, and from the lodging actually has direct access to a mall, and the parking being right below the hotel. They say don't mind the price, even when it is more expensive than it is right now, being on sale. Um, it's worth it. So, and they even mentioned that for some of the rooms that are there, that they are larger than your typical Japanese room. So it could be very well worth the price um, for you. Um, so it's great. It's great. Um, with that, we have all of our lodging options. The one last thing I'm going to say about the area is that I would recommend getting a tram pass. For 600 yen, you can get a 1 day pass from Kumamoto Station, which is, hey, all the more reason to be staying in that area. My friends, that tram pass for the area covers all of like the key stops for the area, and coming in at 600 yen when you're running around for the day doing different things is going to more than pay for itself. Remember, for those of you listening to our show, you can reach out to me at any time at lostwithoutjapan@gmail.com or Lost Without Japan on Instagram. If I can ever answer questions or assist you during your journey, um, you know, we can be there together. Or even when you're traveling by yourself. So just feel free to reach out if you ever have questions. I'm happy to look back out to you. With that, we're going to be bringing that our day trip for the day to an end, and hope you enjoy all the different suggestions for the area. There is so much more than what I even was able to share in our 1 day itinerary for it. And I look forward to hearing what David has to offer as well when he gets back. Look forward to having you join us again in a regularly scheduled episode in 2 more weeks. And if you don't mind, please give a follow, like, or comment on your favorite streaming service, or follow the show on our Instagram at Lost Without Japan. Before we get completely out today, I ended up, for the first time ever, I'll share this again when David's back, and for our 4 year episode is going to be coming up in August. But for the first time, the show is located in the top 100 for shows having to do with Japan, which is huge because the list is of 1,000 different podcasts, and I like the fact that it's different than a lot of those the awards or things that you see where you pay to be a part of, and I feel like you're paying to just have your name be mentioned in something. So I just happened to check on it recently and ran a story on my Instagram about it. If you'd like to check that out. But thank you for all of your listens and following the shows and all the different things you had to get us to that point. Truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed today's show, please support it by joining the show's Patreon. That will also be linked in today's show notes. Thank you to our members who continue to donate. I'm looking to save toward microphones that I'm going to use to record various sounds and things like that when I go with Addison in 2 more summers. On behalf of Lost Without Japan and its entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip. We look forward to seeing you on board again in 2 weeks for our next episode, where we will kind of talk about those 10 different statues located throughout the Kumamoto area. So, to everyone out there, oh, Genki Day. Stay well, my friends.